What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Goat Shed Sports Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Nick Connect. Alongside me is the almighty Jacob Bowles. Jacob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Nick?
Oh, I'm doing just great. And Jacob, we have a little bit of a controversial episode today. We're going to be going through with our opinions. I want to state this now, our opinions, and do our top 10 players of all time, and then we're going to go into our top 3 at each position.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I think we're going to have pretty similar list. Nick and I kind of tend to think alike. Again, we haven't seen each other's list, so we don't know who's on what, so it's going to be...
One thing I will say now, there is 2 players missing from both of our lists, and I'm sorry, but we're not sorry.
Yeah, I mean, probably a little controversial, but if you really kind of hear a reasoning and just logic behind it, kind of makes sense.
All right.
I think.
You want to start us off, Jacob, or you want me to start us off?
I think everybody who watches our podcast knows who's going to be on number 1 in our list. So I'm just going to say it. LeBron, the King James. So, kid from Akron, everything this guy has done. Leads his team, wills his team to championships, and he's just an incredible all-around player, does everything, guards every position. I mean, you have a guy who's that big, 260, just moving that fast and athletic. I mean, never seen anything like it.
Yeah, no, of course, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, just as simple as that, just the greatest player to ever touch a basketball.
And I'm not going to go any other way about that. So with that out of the way, we got the LeBron GOAT out of the way. You want to start at 10, then make our way to 2?
Well, we'll start at 10. Yeah, we'll start at the bottom of our list. So you want to go first, Nick?
Yeah, we talked about this. We both have the same number 10. We just teased. I said I want to tease. I want to hear your 10. So at my 10, I bounced around with some names, but I put Steph Curry. So did Jacob. But I don't know how you couldn't. I contemplated moving him farther down this list, but he's still got more career to play. But, you look at his stats. Yeah. He's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. He's averaging 23 points on his career. He's averaging 43% from the three-throw line. He's a 6-time All-Star. He was a scoring champ. He's a 3-time NBA champion. He's a 2-time MVP, the first ever unanimous MVP. It's been 6 All-NBA teams. What else is there to say? He's the greatest shooter of all time, and I don't think you can not have him in a top 10 list.
Simply put, you really can't put another player in terms of three-point shooting ahead of him.
And yeah, of course. And one more reason I have him in my top 10 list, because I think as influential as LeBron and MJ and Kobe and all these people have been on the game of basketball, I think besides the shoe scene that Jordan obviously and LeBron have carried, I think Steph Curry with the just game of basketball is the most influential player of all time. Because if you think about how basketball is played right now, think about a good 10 years ago, it wasn't played like this.
No, the 3-point, the importance of the three-pointer is because of Steph Curry.
From all levels of basketball, from 5th grade till the NBA, because of him.
There's so many kids nowadays who just look up to him for how he shoots. It's so amazing to watch, actually, the kinds of shots he makes. They're kind of ridiculous sometimes. You definitely don't think they're going in, and somehow he finds a way to do his thing.
Of course. So, yeah.
Yeah, and he's a big part of that Warriors team. He's the heart and soul of it. If you think Warriors nowadays, you think of Steph Curry first. He's the number 1 guy on that team.
Of course. Well, Jacob, let's see if our list goes different ways now. I haven't heard your number 9 yet, so I'm interested to hear it.
Number 9, I have Tim Duncan.
Okay, we're different. We're different number 9s. We are already different. Let's go.
Tim Duncan, one of the best power forwards of all time on a fantastic Spurs team. He's been so consistent for pretty much his entire career, and he's made the Spurs contenders every single year just because of how good he is.
Yeah.
And
this year's probably going to be the first year that they missed the playoffs since 1990.
Yeah, and that's he's been there. He retired 3-4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah,
and he's just been. Just the things he did with that team. He took those veterans like him, Tony Parker, Monty Ginobili, all great guys, but it wouldn't be the same team without him.
Without a doubt,
so I think.
Man, all right, I like this. We're already different. All right, so at my number 9, You know, he was a little farther down on the list, like closer to that number, like in that, like down. But I moved him back up to number 9. I think I'm going to catch some flack for it, but I don't care. I got Larry Bird at my number 9.
Okay.
But, I mean, you look at his career. Him and Magic Johnson, two of the most iconic players of all time because of the battles they went through in those late 80s, early 90s. I mean, over his career, he's 24 points a game. He's 10 rebounds and 6 assists, and he's known as one of the best shooters and scorers of all time. He's a 2-time Finals MVP, a 3-time MVP. He's made 3 All-Defensive teams. He's a 10-time All-Star, a 12-time All-Star, my bad, a 10-time All-NBA. Rookie of the Year, his rookie season. I mean, what has Larry Bird not done?
Yeah, and just also, like, the persona of Larry Bird. I mean,
Larry Legend, baby.
Larry Legend. The man walked around smoking a cigar, and just the confidence he had. Like, I love Larry Bird. I think he's great. And as a matter of fact, I have him as my number 8. So I was one spot off from you.
All right. So I guess since I already gassed up all Larry Bird's stats, you just want me to say my number 8? Or you want to...
Yeah, just go for it. Yeah, I mean, Larry, I had him around that spot, maybe a little bit towards closer to like 7 or 6-ish, but I kind of thought about it, and I think 8's a pretty good spot for him.
All right, on my number 8 spot, I have Kevin Durant.
Ooh, okay.
I got KD at 8. I feel like, I mean, he's obviously done a lot. I feel like he's still got more career to move up, but I have him at 8. I could see him going anywhere from 8 till about 5, to be honest. But, I mean, you look at KD, he's averaged 27 points his whole career with 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He's a 4-time scoring champ. I'm pretty sure he holds the record for most, like, 30-point games in a row, unless James Harden probably broke that recently. He's a 2-time NBA champ. He's a 2-time Finals MVP, 10-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year is rookie year.
Probably one of the most efficient scorers of all time, too.
I think he's the best scorer of all time.
I mean, you can definitely argue that he is. Just for him to be 7 foot tall, pretty much, I'd say definitely probably 7 feet tall, and to be able to shoot like he does,
I think he's the hardest player to guard.
You cannot contest a shot like that.
I mean, as dominant as LeBron was, and as good as Jordan was, in a 1v1, I don't know if I would take anyone but KD. Just he's damn near 7 feet tall. He's got point guard like handles, and he can shoot.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Like, he's so quick with it. Like, you just, I just love watching him.
And the thing is, I feel like KD would be so much higher on everyone's list, but everyone's so salty about the Golden State. But you think about it, back in, like, the 2010 to 2014 range, LeBron was the villain of the league, and KD was the golden boy.
Yeah. I mean, and then they faced in the finals, and obviously LeBron
beat him in 5!
Beat that pretty young Thunder team, but Kevin Durant has always been good.
Man,
he obviously was on that Warriors team that won twice in a row, so
yeah, he ruined basketball for a little bit.
Yeah, it was a rough 2 years, but he got his rings, so he did what they were supposed to do. They won those, and then they lost to the Toronto Raptors when he tore his ACL. But I do have Kevin Durant on my list, just not at number 7, because I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number 7.
Wow. Okay.
I'm
interested. Let's hear this.
I know, number 1, like, most points of all time. I mean, he's done some great things in his career. I cannot deny that he's great. I just think there's definitely players probably better than him. I mean, he's pretty dominant. He was a 19-time All-Star. He won 6 championships. Like, he had a lot of accolades. Don't get me wrong. He just, I don't know. Just besides his skyhook, just not really crazy doing it for me. You know?
Right? Okay. Wow.
I know it's pretty bold having him kind of high up. Like, you'd think that's a pretty high up on the list, but I just something about it. I think that's where I'm putting him.
All right. Well, my number 7. We on 7 now, right? Yeah. My number 7 is the greatest power forward of all time, the big fundamental. Tim Duncan is my number 7.
Okay.
And I think if you look at Timmy, he's a 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA player, Rookie of the Year, 3 times Finals MVP, 5-time champ, 15 All-Defensive teams, 2 MVPs. He was the Rookie of the Year. I mean, what has he not done? And he's done it all without being this crazy, flashy player. I mean, he is known for the fundamentals. He averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists over his career, but he's just one of the most efficient and smart and just biggest basketball IQ players we've ever seen. Like, I watched my Heat go against them twice in the finals. When he was old, it was like, are you kidding me? We can't guard this?
Yeah, but I mean, he's just so, like I said, like consistent and so I don't want to say simple with it, but he does things that he's not too flashy. Like, he gets the bucket and that's all he's really there trying to do. And I mean, it works out. Like, he's both in our top 10 list, so he's doing something. He did something right in his career.
Of course.
Great. I like Tim Duncan a lot. I think he's
much respect for Tim Duncan.
A lot of respect for the guy.
All right, let's hear this number 6 spot, Mr. Bulls.
Number 6, I put Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I definitely
respect that. I respect that.
By the end of his career, he can definitely be top 4 definitely, but probably 3.
It just depends on what him and Kyrie can do.
If he can go off and prove that he can lead a team and lead them to a championship on his own and not kind of join the greatest team of all time, but
yeah,
I think that'll definitely push his case. Like, right now, I definitely think he's one of the best scorers of all time, if not the best scorer. So he has that, he has the skill, and I just think he needs to kind of play more and just see how things go for him.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Right, so my number 6 spot, rest in peace, I got Kobe Bryant at my number 6.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, 18-time All-Star, 5-time NBA champion, 15-time All-NBA, 12-time All-Defensive Team. He won 4 MVPs, 2 Finals MVPs. He's a 2-time scoring champ. Well, I mean, what is there not to say about Kobe Bryant? Not 4-time MVP, right? 1-time MVP. I think this.
1-time MVP, yeah.
This list says 4x MVP, and that's just not true.
I was gonna say he definitely only won one.
Yeah, I'm just reading off Basketball Reference, and he's only won one in 2007, right?
Yeah, but Kobe 100%
should have won it. What?
What? Who said that?
Should have won it in 2006 as well. Steve Nash does not deserve either of his MVPs. It should have been Shaq, and then Dwayne Wade. Shaq should have won it, and then Dwayne Wade the next year. Steve Nash, bum. So,
he kind of just robbed 2 MVPs.
All right, now that I got that out of my system. Yeah, it's Kobe. Obviously, one of the greatest, probably the second best shooting guard of all time. One of the most lethal scorers. One of the most influential players. It was struggled for me not to put him in my top 5, but he just didn't make the cut for me.
Plus, just like the story behind the Black Mamba. I mean, just the legend of people, how they talk about him. I mean,
his
it's
work
incredible.
Ethic, his drive. I mean,
it's incredible how many fans and people around the world love him.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
It's amazing. So, yeah, I had Kobe at my number 5.
Okay.
So I definitely thought about switching him and Kevin Durant, but I just don't think KD's quite played enough time to kind of be considered top 5. So I put Kobe. I mean, Kobe's done everything. He's been one of the greatest shooting guards of all time, like you said, and the stats he's put up, the incredible scoring he can do, what he's done for LA, incredible player. Had to put him at 5, I think.
My number 5 is his teammate, his nemesis, his friend, whatever you want to call it. My number 5 is Shaquille O'Neal. I got
Shaquille O'Neal
at the number 5. I mean, Shaq is the
most Big Diesel. He just as dominant.
He is the most dominant player in the history of the NBA. I mean, 2-time scoring champ, 4-time NBA champ, 3-time Finals MVP. The only time we didn't get a Finals MVP is when Dwayne Wade pulled it. And he made 3 All-NBA defensive teams, Rookie of the Year, 14 All-NBA teams, 15-time All-Star, and let's not forget he played for 7 different teams.
The rainbow of Shaq.
The Magic, the Lakers, the Heat, the
Cavs,
the Suns, the
Magic.
Celtics.
You say Magic?
Yeah, maybe not
Suns.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been
everywhere.
I mean, Shaq is the most dominant player of all time, so he's in my top 5.
Easily. So actually, I keep having ours one off of each other because I have Shaq at 4.
Okay. Well, I know why our list fluctuates. It's because of my number 3.
Okay, this is gonna be very interesting because yeah. So I mean, like we just talked about Shaq, like everything he's done, he's just the big diesel. I mean, he's so for him to be that big, and you just couldn't stop him. You had to either foul him. That's what that's what they did. They literally would just hack a Shaq. I mean, the only way to stop him was to send him to the free throw line because I mean, couldn't really shoot free throws, so it worked out. So I want to hear this number 3 then.
We got number 4 still, Goof.
Oh wait, you're number 4.
I got my number 4 still. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So my number 4 is Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time. You know.
Okay.
12-time NBA, 12-time All-Star, 2-time steals champion, like steal leader, 4-time assist leader, 5-time NBA champ, 10-time All-Star, 3-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, and he led the Magic. Not the Magic. He's Magic. He led the Lakers to a NBA Finals win in his rookie season. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar went out with injury, and Magic Johnson, as a rookie, started at center and led them to a championship.
Wasn't he like 6'7" too?
Yeah, Magic's about 6'9".
He was a tall point guard. Yeah,
tall point guard. He started at center. When Kareem couldn't play, and he led that Lakers team as a rookie to a championship.
Which is incredible. I mean, and he won Final MVP. I mean, if rookie year to go in and be considered the best player, I mean, that's amazing. And he had that, like you said earlier, the great rivalry with Larry Bird, Celtics,
iconic 80s, early 90s basketball.
I mean, that's what
still to this day.
Love for,
still to this day, the Celtics and the Lakers are one of the biggest rivalries. I would say they're probably, honestly, the second greatest rivalry in sports, maybe behind the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just because of those battles that Magic and Larry had, and then, even if there's strains of, and then, obviously then Wilt and Jerry West and Bill Russell and all of them, too. Obviously, that was, the only 2 competent teams in the NBA, so they always went against each other back then.
Yeah.
When there was 8 teams in the NBA, it was irrelevant. But, I mean, with Larry and Magic, and then, although it wasn't a consistent every finals things, there were still 2 finals in our, kind of generation of basketball where we got to watch Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett go up against Kobe and Paul Gasol, and that was a new, wow, the Lakers and the Celtics back in the finals, clashing it out again.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics ended up winning one championship.
They each pulled one away, Kobe got one on the Celtics got one on Kobe.
Yeah, so nice split there. So yeah, Magic Johnson, definitely one of the greatest players of all time. Deserves to be on this list. So I guess I'll go with my number 3 then. I'm very curious to see your number 3 is.
I think it's obvious at this point. We already know.
We
already know who my number 1 and 2 are.
Knowing you, I think I definitely know what it is. But my number 3 is Magic Johnson.
Yeah, cool. Good thing we just gassed him up for 2 minutes.
I mean, yeah, only one on the list that was missing from mine. So, and then you can guess who number 2 is for me, Michael Jordan.
You got MJ, I got MJ at 2. That's obvious. So, my number 3 is Kareem. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? The fact, dude,
I had him pretty early.
That's why our lists were so, staggered, because your Kareem pick so early just threw me through a loop. I mean, 19-time All-Star, 6-time NBA champ, 11-time All-NBA defensive, 2-time Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, 2-time scoring champ, 4-time block champ, 15-time All-Star, 6 MVPs, and 33,000 points scored, all basically off a hook shot.
I know.
24 points a game, 11 rebounds for this big guy, shooting about 55.9 from the field. I mean, and Kareem he dominated all the way. See, my big problem with Wilt and Russell was they played in a time where the NBA was just not prevalent, and it was just...
They played in the 50s and 60s.
And then, I mean, Kareem dominated from the 70s till the 90s, basically. The early 90s, he dominated. He dominated against Wilt, and he dominated against Bill Russell, and then he also got to dominate against other centers like, Bill Walton and those people.
Yeah, so, I mean, did we have everybody the same entire top 10? Same
yes.
people?
Yes.
Okay. Just different order.
Same
okay.
people, because then obviously we got to talk about it. We can't just... I know we're big LeBron guys. We can't just gassing up Jordan. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean...
14-time All-Star, 3-time Steel Champion, 11-time All-NBA, Rookie of the Year... All-Rookie. Was he Rookie? We'll get there. Defensive Player of the Year. LeBron James should have won a Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. Paul Gasol did not deserve that. 1988 Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time MVP, 10-time scoring champ, 6-time NBA champion, 6-0 in the finals, gotta say that. 9-time All-Defensive Teams, 6-time Finals MVP, 1984 Rookie of the Year, and he sucked at baseball. 30 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, he's the second greatest player of all time. There's nothing bad you can say about him.
I mean, a lot of people argue for Michael Jordan to be number 1, but knowing us here, we cannot allow that. I mean, I definitely easily will put Michael Jordan as the second best player of all time.
Oh,
100%. 60 the finals. He won every single time he made it there. I mean, you cannot knock that.
Like, the only time that the NBA in, like, his... I mean, you know, the one flaw I think about Michael Jordan, and I'm going to say it, he was like 1 in 10 in the playoffs before he got Scottie Pippen. You know, he couldn't... Once Jordan was able to get to the finals, he wouldn't lose. It was just a long ride to be able to get there. Because if you think about LeBron in his 4th year drug Mo Williams and Eric Snow to the NBA Finals.
To the finals, and then, I mean, yeah, Jordan lost in the first round a couple times, got swept a couple times in the playoffs.
But I mean, once he got there, 6-0 in the finals is nothing to laugh at.
Never lost in the finals.
And think about it, the only reason like a player like Hakeem Olajuwon has rings is because Jordan decided to go play baseball. If Jordan didn't go play baseball, he would have been 8-0 in the finals probably. I mean, it just, you know, people like Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton are forever going to be known as ringless players because they couldn't get past Jordan.
Yeah.
Not Gary Payton, though. You know, Gary Payton can never get past Jordan, but, you know, that old man outlived Jordan, you know. Won in 2006 with the Miami Heat.
He got his. he finally got his, Nick.
Yeah, but, I mean, Jordan's nothing to laugh at. I just personally take LeBron.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I could definitely see people arguing for Michael Jordan being 1, but just the way I look at it, I cannot.
The way we view the world of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty intellectual individuals.
Dang, big words.
So, would you like to get into our top 3 players at each position of all time?
Would you like to go just point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center?
Yep, that's exactly how it is. And I'll just give you my top 3 point guards right here.
Yeah, we'll just go top 3, and then I'll say my top 3 so we keep this flowing, or else we'll be on this podcast for 3 hours.
For all night, yeah. So, top 3 point guards, I got Magic Johnson, number 1. Steph Curry, number 2.
Okay.
And I have Chris Paul at number 3.
Okay, our 3's different. Mine is Magic.
Paul, I want to see here. I want to hear this.
Mine is Magic, Steph, and Oscar Robinson.
Okay, yeah, I can definitely see Oscar Robertson, triple-double machine. The original triple-double machine.
I want to hear your Chris Paul argument, and I'll say my Oscar argument then, since we disagreed there.
I mean, Chris Paul, I know he's never made it to the finals. I get that.
Never touched the second round, actually.
Yeah, but I just...
Actually, I lied. He made it to the conference finals in the Rockets.
I mean, he never won in conference finals, Never made it to the finals. I mean, I definitely think he's one of the best.
He's the point guard.
True point guards of all time.
He's the point guard.
He's the point guard, yeah.
I'd put him at 4, honestly. I'd put him at 4.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see that, but I just think the way he goes about things, I mean, he's one of the best assisters of all time, and I just could not. I mean, I could definitely see putting Oscar Robinson just because of how dominant he was on all facets of the game. I mean, scoring, assisting, rebounding, but I'm thinking in terms of best point guards, I think Chris Paul could make top 3 arguably.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I got Oscar. I mean, he's a 12-time All-Star. He led the league in assists 6 times. He was a 11-time All NBA. My gosh, he won an MVP. I mean, 25 points, 7 rebounds, and almost 10 assists a game for his career. close to a triple-double for his whole career. Before Russell Westbrook was Mr. Triple-Double, the Big O was the Mr. Triple-Double.
Mr. Triple-Double.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's up in the air. Let's go to our top 3 shooting guards, and if we disagree on these 3, then you're just not my friend.
Trust you. I am your friend on this one.
I think it's I think for the rest of our list, I don't know. I think we're going to be pretty. I mean, MJ, Kobe, D Wade.
That's exactly what I have. Yeah.
And since we've already talked about MJ and Kobe stats, I'll talk about the Flash real quick. Don't
hype him up, Nick.
He's a 13-time All-Star. He's a 3-time NBA champion. He's a 1-time Finals MVP. He's made 3 All-Defensive teams, 8 All-NBA teams. He should have won an MVP in 2008 and 2006, honestly. He's the greatest player to never win an MVP, and I will stand by that. And if I'm going to controversially thing here, if Dwayne Wade never had the knees and ankle injuries that he had, I am saying it, he would be the greatest shooting guard of all time. The way he was going in his career, I think he has the second greatest NBA Finals like play performance. Thank you. Besides LeBron's 3-1 reversal. Yeah. I mean, in that, he averaged like 35 points almost in that finals against a prime Dirk with him and Shaq. I mean, Dwayne Wade's my favorite player of all time, so that's my bias. But I think if he never had the injuries, he might be the best shooting guard of all time.
I put Dwayne Wade at number 3, and I totally agree that the career he had puts him at number 3. Yeah. I think, yes, like you said, he had the potential to definitely be maybe the top point or shooting guard of all time, but
hey, I'll take number 3. I'll take 3 championships from him.
Still had a great career. You can't knock him.
Watching him get a triple-double in his last ever game made me want to tear up. I mean, I got 3 Dwayne Wade jerseys hung up. I'm looking at them right now.
Oh, I know. I've seen them.
I've been to 3 games in Miami. I've watched him play twice in Cleveland and once actually he didn't play in the game I went to Detroit. But that was in 2013, and LeBron got a triple-double, so it was whatever. I mean, I gotta watch Dwayne Wade's last ever game in Cleveland, and it was great. Man, so let's go to our top 3 small forwards that I assume we're gonna have the same order. So I'm just gonna say it again: LeBron, KD, Larry Bird.
LeBron, KD, Larry Bird. Yeah. We've already talked about all 3 of these guys, but we had them in the same order on our list, and they're going to be in the same order on the top 3 small forwards list. So
let's see our power forwards here, because we only included 1 power forward in our top 10 of all time. But I got Tim Duncan, Karl Malone, and Dirk.
Dude, that's exactly what I had.
Yeah, I was telling Jacob before we did this recording. I said I think except for point guard, we're gonna have the same top 3 and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk about Karl Malone and Dirk, but I mean,
you want me to gas them up? I got stats pulled.
Gas them up.
Karl Malone, 14-time All-Star, 4-time All-Defensive, 2-time MVP, All-Rookie Team, 14-time All-NBA, a Predator. What? Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, second most points of all time. The Mailman, he was dominant.
Him and John Stockton were a fantastic duo.
It's too bad Michael Jordan ruined all the fun.
Too bad he didn't let him do anything with that. And then
German Jesus, the best 7-foot shooter of all time, one of the best shooters of all time.
One of the best shooters.
14-time All-Star.
How big he was,
14-time All-Star, 12-time All-NBA, 2011 Finals MVP and NBA champ, 2006 MVP. And, man, at the time, as a Heat fan, I was so sad that the Big 3 Heat went and lost to Dirk, who is a big, kind of getting older, out-of-shape white man. Yeah. I was like, how did we just lose? Now, looking back, dude, I don't even care that we lost because Dirk got a ring. Dirk's legacy.
Dirk deserved a ring, and
Dirk is one of my favorite players of all time.
Dirk's just he was so consistent. He always did good every single year. He had his own signature move. I mean, the Dirk fadeaway.
Yeah, the big Dirk fade.
That's Nick's signature move, too, by the way. Nick always tries to use that move.
Oh, dude, I'd throw fadeaways. Yeah, no. Man, I mean, yeah.
He always chucks that thing up. But, yeah, I mean, he's incredible player.
Most 3-pointers made by a 7-footer. All wearing 40.
One of the best international players.
The best. Till Luka
till
Luka takes it.
Give Luka 10 years.
Yeah. And then, I mean, all of them wearing 41 on the Mavericks. I mean, it's Dirk. How can you hate him? He's German Jesus. And then our top 3 centers, I will say we probably have the same 3, but I don't think we have the same order, judging on how we did our list.
Do you have
I have Kareem
over Shaq?
Yeah, Kareem, Shaq, then Wilt, and you have Shaq, Kareem, Wilt, right?
I have Shaq, Kareem, Wilt. I just think Shaq's the most dominant. I just can't. I don't think Kareem does nearly as much as Shaq. I mean, just in terms of being the best center of all time. I mean, I had him higher on my list, and I don't know. I just think.
And then, we haven't talked about it. Even though it was like an 8-team NBA or whatever you want to call it, and all the talent wasn't there, I mean, I guess we'll talk about Wilt, 13-time All-Star, 11-time rebound champion, 2-time NBA champion, 2 All-Defensive teams, 7-time scoring champion, 10 All-NBA teams, 4 MVPs, 100 points in a game, averaged like 50 rebounds. I mean, his career average was 30 points, 22 rebounds. I mean, I'm pretty sure there was a season where he averaged like 50 rebounds. Let me look.
He had he close to 50 points, I want to say, in a season, like averaging. But in
the 1961 season, he averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds.
That's incredible. And I mean, Nick and I, when we talked about our number 10, we both had number 10 as Wilt Chamberlain until we switched to Steph Curry.
Just because the way we see it, and why Bill Russell and Wilt weren't in our top 10 list. The NBA was different. It has changed now, and I was looking at it more of a modern-day perspective, and because, even though you can always make that argument that, like, players now, like, you can make that argument that DeMar DeRozan would be a absolute go. People always say Michael Jordan's literally DeMar DeRozan. I've seen that. You can make that argument that, I mean, yes, if you go put the athletes we have now back in the 90s, they would be more insane than they are now. Like, someone like Derrick Jones Jr., for example, would probably be one of the greatest NBA players of all time in the 80s. But you gotta look at the players now, and I think, if Jordan came into our league now, I think he would still be Michael Jordan. But I just don't think the talent that Kareem and Bill Russell played and the talent we have now, I just don't see a comparison where I could put them. I respect them for what they've done to the game, and they are the greats. But in my top 10 list, if I'm looking at the top 10 just best players of all time, I just tend to go more towards the 80s and present.
I'm thinking more kind of skill-wise, I guess. I mean, they have a lot of accomplishments.
A lot of accolades, but
most of them do. But yeah, I'm just thinking in pure talent and ability. I gotta give it to Wilt and Bill Russell. They did their thing. They were one of the. I mean, a lot of people consider them one of the best of all time, but I just can't find a place for them, sadly.
Can I throw a curveball question at you that you're not gonna expect since we didn't talk about it?
Oh, dude, do it. Let me hear it.
Who do you think the best 6 man of all time is?
All time.
Because I got mine because I thought about this question. I just wanted to catch you off guard. Mine's Manu.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
Manu.
For that team, yeah, he did exactly what he needed them from what they needed from him.
Yeah, yes, I think so. I think in 2005, I believe it was 2005 or 2003. I think that Manu should have been Finals MVP over Timmy.
Wow.
Yeah, no. Manu is, to me, he's one of the best international players, the Argentinian, and I just was curious as we're talking about these top. I just was curious, who do you think is your top 6 man?
See, I haven't really thought about this.
I think it's really between Manu, Jamal, and Lou Will.
Jamal he's always been a 6 man. He's always been a really good bench player. I mean, he definitely could have started for a lot of teams, but he's just been a really good player to come off the bench and spark a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be who I go with.
All right, I respect that. I was just thinking about it. I was like,
I can definitely see the Manu argument.
I just wanted to catch you off guard.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that a little bit more probably.
I think with that being said, Jacob, I think we've gone through our list. We've checked it twice. I think that's it.
I think I hope you guys enjoyed listening to our list, and if you have any big concerns with
comment it below, yell at us on Twitter. I'll get in an argument.
Feel
whatever.
free to let us know. Yeah. So with that, Nick, I guess I'll hit him with the outro.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. We will see you again next Sunday. So, bye-bye.
Bye.